your energy forecast for Friday, August 11th. So today we do have the moon in Gemini going void, of course, at 1:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be locking into Cancer energy at 6:53 p.m. So the moon is in her place of power in Cancer energy, so the transition of coming out of the cerebral mental plane, processing the highs, the lows, the everything in between that we did in Gemini energy. Now we're taking all of that and we're dropping it into the heart space. We are bringing on the feels. Now, let's just be very clear. When the moon is in Cancer energy, we tend to be all caught up in our feels. We tend to get a little bit, I'm going to say heavy, weighted, semi-depressed. But here's the thing. The whole point of Cancer energy is for us to actually identify our emotional needs. So if you're going to experience those heavier, weighted type of emotions, if you do find yourself a little bit introverted, melancholy, really nostalgic, reflecting back on the past, not feeling your hot self, then that is an indicator on what it is that you are currently lacking, what it is that you want, you need, you desire, and of course, should give you the revelations on what it is that you need to be doing for yourself, especially in building new healthy routines, new healthy connections in your life in order to actually support the emotional needs in which you're currently identifying that you're lacking. Now, because we're in this very dark period where, we're about to have all of these energies pour in on the 12th, on the 13th, 12th most specifically is this quote unquote Lionsgate 8-8 portal energy that didn't come on Lionsgate portal 8-8 because of course it doesn't exist. What we're talking about here is the helical rise of the dog star Sirius. And of course, there's a lot of information about that, but all you have to know is that there's an extreme amount of energy coming into the earth plane. And on the 13th, that is Venus's resurrection. So this is what we're waiting for. We are going to be bombarded with energy over the 12th, 13th, probably taking us into the 14th, probably taking us into the 15th, because then we move into the new moon in Leo window of energy that of course will be taking place on the 16th. So we're about to have some back-to-back resuscitation, if you will, with the energy influx coming into the earth, really bringing us into a new level of awareness, a new position in our physical realms to make choices, to align with decisions, to really figure out what it is that we're doing from here. So let's prepare for that. But of course, we're not there yet. And we have to get through this day, this transition, if you will, of taking all of our cerebral thoughts and processing them in our heart space. So of course we do have, I'm going to say the bulk of the waking hours still with the moon in Gemini. As we move into the latter part of the day, when we're winding down from our day, that is when the moon will shift into her place of power in Cancer. And you best believe that that is going to be when we pull back, when we become a little bit more introverted, a little bit more reflective in our inner realms in order for us to sort our feelings out and figure out what it is that we are lacking so that we can identify the problem and then go ahead and actually fix it. So there are 9 different aspects here today. 8 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon in Gemini is going to sextile beautiful energy with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, who is retrograde in the heart and soul of the zodiac in this Leo energy. Again, preparing to close the door on the last 8-year cycle that she initiated way back when. Of course, we are kind of connecting the dots. We are initiating that last petal of the flower of life that she creates in her orbit. We're bringing that to an end. We're bringing that to a close on the 13th when she's resurrected. And of course, that's when we kick off a brand new 584-day cycle for Miss Venus. And that is when we are definitely going to see the rise, if you will, of this powerful feminine energy in order for us to stand very, very steadily in who it is that we are, who and what brings us the happiness, the joy, the safety, security, stability that we desire. And of course, this is going to be the major pivotal point in which we have a change of heart and therefore a change in direction. Now, this is a beautiful energy because, of course, the Gemini energy, which is an air energy, the Leo energy, which is a fire energy, what do you get when you have air and fire? Well, you have a steadily burning fire, spark, flame of excitement, of passion, of joy, of excitement, as long as you can keep that air energy balance. What does that mean? The Gemini energy is thought. It is logic, it's practicality, it's all of that mental stimulation. The Leo energy is the heart and soul, right? So we are passionate, we're getting excited, we're inspired, we're motivated, we're merging these two together. We're really sorting through our mental plane, also through our heart space, in order to arrive to a decision on what it is that we're going to kind of pivot away from, what it is that we're going to pivot closer to. This is going to be a good realization on what it is that we want, we need, we desire, and we are going to be building ourselves up to a place of boldness and bravery and courage in order to actually go after those things that we are now realizing we want for ourselves. The moon in Gemini is going to make a positive interaction with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who is retrograde in this Capricorn energy, giving us another opportunity to successfully deconstruct, successfully disassemble some of the structures, foundations, some of the systems, some of the routines in our lives that, of course, have been restricting us, holding us back, really putting us in a situation where we feel powerless, where we don't feel in control of our lives. This is a good realization on where it is that we got to boss up, take control back, stand in our power, and really see what it is that is no longer serving us and what it is that we can build and create in the place of the things that we need to kind of let go of. The moon interacting with Pluto in this way, very revealing, very much an intense aha moment, not only in our mental plane, not only in our psyche, but in our heart space, because the moon, again, is our emotional realm. So there is a major change, a major aha moment, a major epiphany that will be taking place, sparking something new, something fresh in our mental plane. We're dropping it into the heart space. We're trying to sort out our feelings about what it is that we just thought about, what we just realized. And of course, the seed has been planted. Once you know, you can't unknow. And therefore, we are kind of accelerating through this process of trying to really identify what these insights are, what these visions are, what these new dreams, goals, inspirations are, and of course, how we can apply logic and practicality to them to actually bring them to life. The moon will then interact with Uranus, the great awakener, who of course is in Taurus energy. This particular interaction is going to be a realization on what needs to change in the physical realm. Of course, Uranus is here to give us those aha moments, download us with insight, really just kind of give us new information and details, out of the woodwork, wild card energies, unexpected opportunities in order to see things a little bit differently. And because he's in Taurus energy, a fixed earth sign, we are taking a good look at our physical realms, our physical bodies, our routines, our money matters, our relationships. We're understanding where it is that we've been too closely attached, too aligned with some of these physical aspects in which we've brought to life based off of our old version of self, and where it is that we've been resisting and hesitant to make the changes that we know that we need to make. But this is, again, an epiphany, an aha moment where once you have this understanding, once you see things from this different set of eyes, this different perspective, you can't unknow it. It just acts as a snowball, a catalyst for change. So the only aspect that we have popping off here today that doesn't involve the moon is Mars. And Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger, who is in this Virgo energy, looking to fix, looking to heal, looking to solve, looking to resolve some of the issues that, of course, are coming right into our faces, into our awareness. Okay, so Mars is going to be making an interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in this Aries energy, helping us to really identify what the problems are, starting with our train of thought, the way that we're seeing ourselves, the way that we're perceiving ourselves, the way that we're projecting ourselves out into the world. Of course, we are going through this identity crisis. I prefer not to call it a crisis, although that's what most people would identify it as. We are rebranding ourselves. We are kind of shedding the skin, the layers of who it is that we've had to be in order to kind of get down to the real, raw, authentic version of ourselves that we're now going to emerge as. So Mars making this interaction with Chiron, likely not going to feel good. It's putting us in a situation where we're really starting to doubt ourselves. We're starting to doubt our energy and efforts that we've already put forth, the energy and efforts that we're going to have to put forth. We are really questioning whether or not we've done enough, whether we could do more, whether we are enough. We're kind of moving into this passive aggressive state of being, which of course doesn't help anybody do anything. There's this edginess, this defensiveness, this, I'm going to say, frustration, let's say, because we are, first of all, Mars is very frustrated in the Virgo energy because Virgo energy slows him down. The Virgo energy needs logic and practicality in order to back the actions, the energy that Mars wants to take. Mars would prefer just to take action and deal with the consequences later. And of course, the Virgo energy ain't having that. We have to be very calculated, very strategic with our plans, with our strategy and moving forward. And only at that time will we engage the physical body, that Mars energy, in order to take action and make moves that, of course, are going to help fix, solve, and resolve some of the issues in which we've been banging our head against the wall about. So it's almost like we're being pulled in two different directions. There's this aggressiveness, this assertiveness that we know that we have to push forward, to take action, to make moves, to make things happen. But yet we're a little bit wounded. We're a little bit sensitive. We're a little bit vulnerable. And so, how are we supposed to be this real, raw, vulnerable self when we're defensive and when we're feeling like we have to be on guard and aggressive and protecting ourselves and all of these, very dualistic type of energies? So it's almost like we have to find a balance between being in our power, but yet being real and raw and authentic with our emotions. And so maybe the answer is to be very direct with what it is that we are thinking and feeling. So there's an aggressiveness there in order to be straightforward and direct, like, hey, here's the matter of fact, here's what's going on with me, but yet still have that emotional vulnerability to really truly express what it is that we're thinking and feeling. So it is going to be an interesting dynamic, but also just consider the fact that when we are experiencing, the heavier emotions such as anger and frustration and defensiveness and all these, not so nice things, that it's actually illuminating for us what it is that we have to work on, what it is that we're not feeling so sure and stable about. And from that, of course, we make the realization, and then we can focus more time, energy, and attention on getting us to a more safe and stable ground for us to operate from. So then the moon in Gemini gets into the boxing ring, squares off, fights it out, creates tension and conflict with Neptune. Neptune is retrograde in his place of power in this Pisces energy, ruling over our dreams, our intuition, our spirituality, our imagination, our ability to heal and transform from past wounds, past pain, past trauma. What we're getting here is a struggle between what we want to trust in the most. So let me explain. The Gemini energy is very rooted in the ego self. We're very, in this materialistic realm because the Gemini energy takes in all the information and data from our physical realms in order for us to form opinions and then, of course, formulate those opinions, communicate and express ourselves with those opinions. That's how it works. But we're very rooted in the here and now. We're very kind of connected to our physical body, our physical realms. Well, Neptune in this Pisces energy is anything but connected to these physical realms. This is where our intuition comes in, where our dreams come in, where our gut comes in. And there's no matter of fact for that. There's no information, there's no data, there's no proof of what it is that you're believing in or feeling or trusting. It's coming from your higher self, and that can't be explained. There's no evidence, there's no proof for it. So we're getting into the boxing ring and we're fighting it out because emotionally and mentally speaking, we are really just kind of taking a good look at our physical realms, at our physical circumstances, and we're basing what is possible for us off of where it is that we currently are. Now, let me just say, if we do that, we're actually limiting the possibilities of our experience because, of course, if you're just looking at the four walls in which you're currently in, something would tell you that those four walls are the only four walls that you're going to be looking at because you don't have imagination, you don't have intuition, you don't have a vision, you don't have a dream, you don't have the magic of the universe, opening up the door to the realm of possibilities outside of the physical realm in which you've already created. So this is very much like getting into the boxing ring and saying, okay, am I going to align with my gut reaction, with my instincts, with my intuition, with my dream, with my vision, with the insights, with this, higher self feeling? Or am I going to close the door on magic, on possibilities, on futuristic, imaginative type of situations that I would like to see myself in? Or am I going to align with the matter of fact that this is it? This is all that I can kind of, conjure up in my mental plane because of my mental plane and my heart space, just basing the possibilities of my future self off of the current circumstances in which I'm currently sitting in. So this is going to battle it out. It's at this particular point in time that the moon in Gemini is going to go void of course. And of course, when the moon is void, things get shaky, things get uncertain, things get unstable. We actually have a couple of aspects taking place while the moon is void. The first one being a sextile of beautiful energy with the North Node, who is now in Aries energy, pushing for us to get on the right path in order for us to really learn who it is that we now are. This again is going to be an 18-month particular tough love life lesson in order for us to return to ourselves, to be centered in our new self, to operate on the plane of existence, to put our own wants, needs, and desires before everyone else's. This is our quote unquote selfish and villain era. Doesn't mean that we're the bad guys, but when we start putting boundaries up and start doing what is best for us, many people that used to benefit from our lack of boundaries, they are going to look at us like we are the bad guys, like we're not showing up for them, like we're casting them aside, like we're, too selfish and self-absorbed to even care about them. We all need to be the villain in somebody else's story. And if you are the villain in somebody else's story because you're putting your own wants, needs, and desires first, then congratulations. You are doing exactly what you need to do. Okay, so the moon in Gemini sextiling with the North Node in this way, sextile is a beautiful energy. We are coming up with some hints and clues. We are kind of identifying and narrowing down, should I say, the options, the possibilities, the opportunities for us to move forward. So this is kind of like we're seeing some growth, we're seeing some aha moments, we're receiving a couple of puzzle pieces, we see the greater, grander picture, may just be revealing a baby step, but a baby step counts nonetheless, and this is a good vibe. Now, the moon, while still void, is going to interact with Pluto, this time in such a way that is going to show us the division, going to show us the choices, going to show us the different opportunities, but they're dualistic, they're polarized, they're very extreme, they're very much one path will take you on a completely different experience and adventure than if you were to take the other path. Regardless, what this is doing is illuminating the intensity that we're currently feeling in our headspace, in our heart space, to make a decision, to choose, to align, to just align with something so that we can stop the debating process. Now, it's probably not going to feel good, probably going to rip back a couple of layers in our psyche, really reveal to us where the problems may be in choosing one path, one option, one direction over the other, but nonetheless illuminate where the blockages, where the challenges are. And then, of course, it's up to us to really sort through whether or not we're going to become a victim to these restricting obstacles and challenges, or whether we're going to boss up, get empowered enough to blaze right through them. The moon will then semi-square, creating a little bit of a tension, a little bit of a conflict with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, who's in this Taurus energy until May of 2024, giving us an opportunity to create new opportunities in our physical realms, to boss up, to make our lives look and feel better, to create situations of stability, safety, and security where we're currently lacking. But this is a semi-square, this is a tension point, so we're resistant to the change, to the growth, to the opportunity to expand our mental plane, expand our opportunities, expand our horizons. We are in a state where we're questioning everything. Again, that Gemini energy is the curiosity that killed the cat. And we are not as confident because the moon is void, and therefore there is more of a breaking down of some of the things that we felt good about than there is a building up. Now, this is taking place just a couple of minutes before the moon locks into that Cancer energy. And again, 6:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will lock into that Cancer energy. That is when things are going to become a little bit more quiet, when things are going to become a little bit more introverted, and we are going to feel all the feels. So the only aspect that we have left here today is the moon now in Cancer energy, making a positive interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, who of course is retrograde in this Aries energy. Now we got to go back to earlier in the day when we had that Mars and Chiron interaction where it brought up all the, frustration, the doubt, all of the seesaw energy we didn't know where to pour into. We are, I'm going to say, resolving some of that. May not be huge leaps and bounds of resolving some of the insecurities, fears, and doubts that, we mustered up earlier in the day. However, it is putting us in a situation where we're calming the inner storm, where we are just kind of being fluid and receptive, and we're just trying to go with the flow and see what happens, but we're healing and we are addressing some of the problems that will need to be healed, essentially. And so there is this kind of shift in the wounds that got ripped wide open earlier in the day. There's this sense of nurturing, this sense of, oh, okay, this is what I need to do in order to feel safe and secure. Oh, this is what I need to do in order to feel like I'm taking care of myself. Oh, this is the boundary that I need to implement in this particular relationship so that I'm not constantly being poked and prodded by other people's projections of who it is that they want me to be. And in that, very slowly but surely, we will start to see where a new foundation, a new structure on how it is that we're going to interact with certain individuals, and even more than that, show up to actually start nurturing ourselves back to a place of happiness, of safety, security, and stability. We're going to start seeing those pieces come together over the next coming of days.